Betrayal in London, a story about love, trust, and second chances. The perfect beginning. The rain had just stopped in London when Sophie Turner walked into Café Claremont, the same corner shop she'd visited every morning before work. The air smelled of espresso and croissants, and her reflection glimmered faintly in the window. Tired, but smiling. That's where she met Ethan Parker, a journalist with soft brown eyes and an easy charm. He spilled his coffee, trying to hold the door open for her, and they both laughed. By the end of the week, he'd asked her out. By the end of the month, they were inseparable. They explored the South Bank, shared takeaway under the lights of Piccadilly Circus, and talked about everything, from politics to poetry. "You make me feel safe," Sophie whispered once. "And you make me feel seen," Ethan replied. It felt like forever. The distance grows. A year later, Sophie got promoted. Marketing manager for a firm in Canary Wharf. Long hours, constant meetings, and exhaustion crept in. Ethan, meanwhile, was chasing stories, sometimes gone for days, covering political scandals and late-night news. They still said, "I love you" every night. But it started to sound like a habit rather than a heartbeat. One evening, Sophie came home to find Ethan's phone buzzing on the counter. A message flashed before it locked again. "Last night was perfect. Miss you already? See." Her chest tightened. She tried to breathe. The breaking point. When Ethan came home, she was sitting on the couch, phone in her hand. "Who's C?" she asked quietly. "What?" "The message." "Last night was perfect." He froze, then sighed. "It's not what it looks like," but it was. Sophie could see it in his eyes. Guilt, shame, and fear, all tangled together. "How long?" she asked. "A few months. It just happened. I didn't mean to hurt you." She stood up, trembling. "You didn't just hurt me, Ethan. You destroyed what we built." The next morning, she packed her things and moved out. Healing alone, Sophie rented a small flat in Camden Town. One bedroom, cracked tiles, and silence that screamed louder than any fight. She deleted their photos, unfollowed his social media, but still caught herself checking his name sometimes. At night, she'd sit by the window, watching buses roll by, wondering how love could vanish so quietly. Her best friend Amelia tried to help. "You deserve someone who chooses you every day." "I thought he did," Sophie whispered. Time moved slowly. She started running in the mornings, joined a yoga class, and began to smile again. Not because she forgot, but because she refused to be broken forever. The unexpected reunion. A year later, Sophie attended a media conference in Manchester. She was presenting a campaign for ethical advertising. Confident, composed, and finally free. After her talk, she heard a familiar voice behind her. "You were brilliant." Ethan stood there. Older, paler, eyes full of regret. "Sophie, I've thought about you every day." "Don't. Please just let me explain." They found a quiet corner. He told her he'd ended things with C months ago, had gone to therapy, and realized how much he'd ruined. "I lost you because I didn't know how to love properly," he said. "And now I know what trust means, and what it costs. Trust, rebuilt or gone, forever." Sophie listened, heart pounding. She wanted to believe him, but the memory of that message still burned in her mind. "You can't rebuild trust with words, Ethan," she said softly. "It's built with actions and time." He nodded. "Then I'll wait, even if it takes forever." For months after, he sent her letters. Not to beg, but to share what he was learning. Accountability, patience, and humility. Slowly, Sophie found herself replying. Conversations turned into calls. Calls turned into coffee. They never went back to what they were. But something new began. Fragile yet honest. The truth about love one spring evening. As they walked along the Thames, Sophie stopped. You know, I used to think love was about never being hurt, she said. And now I know love is about healing. Even after the hurt, he smiled faintly. Does that mean we have a chance? It means we're both still learning. The city lights reflected in the river, shimmering like second chances. And for the first time in a long time, Sophie felt peace. Epilogue. What trust really means. Trust isn't about never falling. It's about what you do after the fall. Sophie and Ethan never became perfect again, but they became real, and in the quiet of a London night, they learned that sometimes forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It simply gives the heart permission to begin again.